from time to time, I have to come and assess the bees to make sure that everything's good, that there's no flooding going on with the amount of rain that we're getting with the atmospheric river. And then I look at the blossoms too of the orchard, see how far along we are. But every once in a while, I have to, things that I have marked that I want to check, and just want to make sure that there's good, strong bees there for our growers, to make sure that we are providing good quality bees for pollination. And they're hunkered down tight right now. It is, or else we would be able to crack it open just a little bit to assess it, but it is 55 degrees and we don't want to break that cluster.
I got into beekeeping in '08. I think a lot of us can remember when the market crashed. I was scrambling to figure out what I was going to do. A beekeeping commercial outfit had a job opportunity that I figured I'd give a try, and I did. And from there, it was just an incredible experience that I just dove into. Didn't get an opportunity to get into like learning the little steps of beekeeping. It was commercial, 100 miles an hour, all in. So it was a great experience, and that's what got me into beekeeping. It's important to my wife and I that we're able to manage comfortably and still, you know, have family time. So, but we also have our kids in what we do. It's just their daycare is the bee yard. So we live in Northern California. Northern California produces, in my opinion, some of the best queens in the world. We have a lot of generational beekeepers that have paved the way for beekeepers like myself to, you know, make a name by our work ethic, or how meticulous we are in caging and breeding our queens. I love the science of it when it involves the queen breeding. Making and breeding different genetics, and working with some of the best queen breeders in the industry. Like, you know, we have Megan Mahoney, there's Dr. Stephen Shepard in Washington State, there's Susan Kobe, which I believe has retired recently. So these are names that are, you know, are people that we as queen producers look towards to provide us the best genetics that we have to offer for the industry.
So I know something a beekeeper never wants to see or never wants to hear is the loss. Do you have any kind of loss within that rain? I mean, were you able to put in new boxes out there if you got any losses out in the fields? Or
this year, you know, and just hearing from colleagues and for ourselves, we did have higher losses in, you know, rolling into January. Things looked normal around November, but going into January, then you start to open things up, and it's not what you were expecting to go into the trees. So our numbers went dramatically, down. We, you know, like most beekeepers, we're at the 50 and above % loss. There is some guys that had significantly lower losses, and there's so many things that play into that, right? So if it's supplementing, is it mite treatments, so many different things, environmental issues, so many different things that can play, but for us, we're unsure what that is, and we hope to get some answers here soon from, I know there's a lot of bee labs that are doing work and trying to sample, brood, wax, dead bees, and just hopefully get some answers for beekeepers.
Yeah, hopefully we can hear something pretty good, something that they can come up with, or at least nail it down to what it is.
Yes, that would be really helpful, because we're up against the wall with some of these things. There, just so many things that just the Varroa alone for us is already a challenging thing. With us being in California, there's certain treatments that we're allowed to use and not use, which play a role in our operation. So, but we do have our treatment regimen that we do implement every month, because that's what we have to do to keep these bees healthy.
Okay, so I am ready to get in the hive. So you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
So this is the a sucrose fructose blend with the Apis Biologics supplement that we put in our tank. So the package is it'll treat 250 gallons, 1,000 liters, I believe. So we just pour a full packet, and then we'll throw in 250 gallons of sucrose fructose blend. And then at times we will thin it out just a little bit. Around this time, we'll thin it out like a 2-to-1 ratio. That way it has the consistency and it will mimic the nectar. And that nectar coming in, it's what gets really the queen really stimulated with the combination of the pollen coming in. She just rears like crazy. So that's what we're trying to do and promote.
So I know we do have different medication that we are able to use. Are you transitioning from medication to medication so they don't get used to it, or are you just solid with one? Especially like right now, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so right now we actually are getting into the Formic Pro. That's something that's new to us, that we've always been hesitant, just because of what you hear from colleagues about queen mortality, just other issues. The temperature, when you're allowed to put it on, you can't put it up above 80 degrees. And I know that's flexible on, guys that have used it and are familiar with it. They know how to manipulate it a little bit. Yeah. We don't. This is our first year trying it. So we are doing formic acid, which is a Formic Pro product. We use thymol products like Apiary, and then Amatraz products.
So are you treating every month, or is it like seasonal when you start to treat your bees?
So like right now, I think it's pretty important to start planning because the queen is rearing really, really fast. And so we want to get ahead of the mites. We don't want to get behind the mites. So right now is a pretty good time to treat them. So the forecast looks great. We're gonna have 65, 70 degree weather. So I think it's a good, nice window to be able to apply like the formic acid. You can also do Apiary or Amatraz products. So that right now is pretty important. It's very critical to get your, the blooms going pretty good, as you can see in the background. It's a beautiful sight, but that just tells you the queen is stimulated. Mm-hmm. She is rearing, laying a lot of eggs, and the hives are going to become explosive. We want to have explosive, healthy hives, not explosive hives with mites.
So how would you be able to tell when a queen is ready to be made and throw out the old one?
So what we look for is like the spotty laying. That's one of the things. And it's tricky because spotty laying can be, that they will clean out from Varroa, right? But if you're on your Varroa treatments, then you shouldn't really have that spotty laying. Another thing that you're looking for is where it's not laid. Is there a reason why it's not laid? It could have nectar, it could have pollen. So those are little details that you should be looking for. Usually, visually, if you see the queen and her wings are all tethered and old looking, and she's walking with like 3 legs rather than all her legs, then that's another sign like, okay, I need to replace my queen. So there's a lot of little things that for us, the laying, the way her appearance, the colony will let us know whether or not they need a new queen. And that's just, it's a strange thing to even say, but the sound of the bees and the way they look, the way they're moving, the way they're producing, the way they're growing will let you know if I need to replace that queen soon.
Gonna break in this new Mann Lake smoker here. So I like this wood thing here. So we're starting off strong. This is my smoker bucket. So I have this fabric stuff that I like to start, and then I'll throw pellets on. And I use the pellets mainly because it just holds the fire. It burns a little longer. So I'll pack it in with the pellets. Then I'll follow up with burlap, which we get from, actually I don't know if I should say the source, but we get some coffee bean bags. So, you know, some guys use like potato sacks. I like the burlap that comes from the coffee beans because they're organic, something that we're consuming anyway. So you know they're organic food grade. Like they have some that are like onions, but they spray in onions so much. So.
What are you talking about?
Oh, the burlap. All right, Max, you want to break that baby in?
Yes.
All right. All right, I'm gonna start cracking them and you're gonna start smoking them, okay?
Would you say that once the bees are starting to look around to kind of swarm out, will that be another reason that you need to replace a queen? Maybe she's not as healthy or she's just not able to produce as much, or is that just because they're just being so overgrown that they want to get out and find a bigger place?
So typically around this time, spring, when a colony is going to swarm out, it's usually related to population. So for us, we want to make sure that we give them enough space, and that's bringing in more equipment. We're either stacking more equipment up top. If we're trying to be efficient, we're just going to throw it up on top. If we're trying to be really proactive in stopping the swarming, we're going to take some bulk bees out, or we're going to put a third box and then just move some full frames up top and spread out some of those empty frames down below. We'll usually take 2 frames from the bottom and then the top that goes right on the top, and it gives them enough space. So that's kind of what we try to do. But for us, we're always in our hives. We never really have that swarming issue. If you're pollinating the trees in California right now, usually the guys that are trying to be in a hurry are the guys that are out of state, because they're not here like we are, always monitoring their hives. They come here, you know, every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, or maybe they just come out once to just pick them up and load them out. So for us, we just want to make sure we're in them every 2 weeks and we're giving them what they need. If it's food, if it's space, or if it's the treatments. Every inspection, we have a purpose that we're doing. So that's what we try to do around here.
Okay.
So you do talk a lot about family and your kids and talking about how the backyard is the daycare. How do your kids feel? Like, I know you have little ones. Do they go out there and just ready to rock and roll and go into parties? Or are they just like, do they kind of back off and like, no, we're scared?
You know, so our oldest, Maximus, he has been around the bees since he was born. You know, one of his favorite toys was the Hive tool, putting on the bee gloves, and just there, he has just grasped this on his own. It was never, we didn't push it, but he's been around it his whole life. And now he just loves it. It's a privilege to go out to the bee yards. So if we ever want something to get done around the house, it's, you want to go move some bees with Dad, you have to do this and this. So he loves it. He, you know, he has his own little bee suit that we have custom tailored. It's a camouflage bee suit. Finding good protective gear for the kids is challenging for when they're that small. So, but you know, a great alternative is just getting it tailored by a seamstress in your local town, and which is what we do. And then we have Kennedy, which she does love the bees, but she's not as passionate. She loves the fact that we take care of the bees. That's our job. So it's little things like, Dad, I picked these flowers for our bees, which, you know, I love. I think that's, you're grooming these kids to care, right? I do hope that it's something that they continue with. But if they don't, that's okay with us, because we're paving some good work ethic. Because if you know beekeepers, we are hardworking, we adapt, we're resilient, and we just make things happen.
Are we gonna go in a hive today?
Yes.
Yes? All right. Are you gonna show me everything about the bees?
Yes.
All right, we'll go see.
Okay, I'll bring you the patties real quick. Here's your patties, Max. Doing that Mann Lake Ultra Bee with rocket fuel.
What's your favorite thing about beekeeping?
Catching the queens.
Are you able to spot the queen right away?
Yeah.
Really? So if I'm like, okay, here's a frame, can you find the queen? You can look for it really quick?
Yeah. But it's hard to look for when it's like at the bottom of the hive, because that's where most of the bees are.
So what do you do when it's on the bottom? Do you take all the frames out or do you shake the box?
We look at all the frames first and then take the frames out and then just try to look for the queen.
Okay, and what do you do when you find the queen? Do you mark it or you kind of see how it looks?
We try to catch it
Mm-hmm.
by the wings and put it in the queen cage.
Oh, okay. And what else do you do when you're in the hive? Do you like feed also, or do you just like to look at them?
Well, when we're just queen catching, we just catch the queen.
Do you put in feed too? Do you put patties and?
When we do the nukes, we don't put patties.
Why not?
Cause they're not that big.
Oh, okay. So they need to be in a big box to put the patties in.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever got stung?
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Yeah.
So, but you didn't get scared after that, right? You still go out there and open up the hives and stuff? Awesome. Do you rather be out in the bee yard or at school?
Bee yard.
Tell me, what's your favorite subject at school?
Recess.
Recess? I was gonna say lunch. I like lunch better. Do you have any siblings too?
Yeah.
Do they like to come in the hives with you or just you?
Pretty much trust me.
Just you? Yeah. Anything else that you want me to know about? Are you gonna show me how to find the queen once we go in there?
Yes.
What if I get stung?
I don't know.
Are you gonna let me borrow your bee suit?
It's too small.
I think I can fit. At least just cover my face. No? Oh man. Okay, I guess if I get stung, I'll just hold it in. Okay?
We were very passionate on customer service, good quality of product, collaboration, connecting with our customers, customer relations, and just, you know, working in providing, knowing that we provide something for our industry that people can benefit. That's why Uribe honeybees and the queens is one of those things that we felt so passionate. Like our cagers and catchers for queen bees, I mean, they're better than I am. And I feel I am really good at what I do. Kelly has grasped this knowledge on her own just by watching, and she's also has exceeded some of the things that I'm able to do. So I know that everything that we do it to the best that we're able to, and more, you know, at times. If we're not afraid to ask questions, we're not afraid to share ideas. We believe in innovation. We believe we're forward thinkers. That's kind of drives us to become better. And hopefully that's something that beekeepers around us and things we share like on our channel that people can grasp, get some insight, because we want to add value to this industry.
When will you say it will be a good time to start splitting?
Start splitting. So I would say that a great time to split is if you're running a double deep box, which typically most migratory guys run is a double deep, if it's an 8 or a 10 frame. But if you see wall-to-wall bees on the bottom and the top, and I usually assess bees, so I will tilt a box and I like to observe it from the bottom.
I see some larvae in this one.
Oh yeah.
So we have to be.
Open these up real quick. Take a peep.
Is there a reason why you have 2 different type of frames in there, or is it just your preference?
Oh, it's just kind of whatever we're running there at the. I prefer wood bound. Those are, I don't know what brand they are, but I dislike plastic frames, but it's just when we started, it's kind of whatever we were able to have, right, or get accessible. So, this is the drone brood right here. And that's what we're looking for. Make sure they're laying drone brood. This is regular brood. So that's a worker bee, drone bee, which is the males. We want to see the production of that right now because we want to make sure we have mature drones for the mating season.
Do you have a preference between black or yellow foundation?
I like black because it's easier to spot the eggs. When I'm holding it in the sunlight, I could see the eggs very easily. I don't have to spend a lot of time. And also my wife or the employees that we have can easily spot eggs.
Dada,
Yes.
the bottom pack went to the hole.
All right, sorry. I got to keep things moving because Max,
You're making him fall behind.
yeah, he doesn't mess around.
Some folks will like to find their queen, and so they'll put an excluder right in between. They'll come back in around 3 days, and then you observe where the eggs are being laid. So the side that so you have the excluder, your double deeps. If the queen is down below, obviously there's going to be eggs there. So that tells you that top box can be taken away.
Put that down, facing downward. Yep, perfect. They're hard to get. You can use your Hive tool. Where's your Hive tool? Just go like this. Pull it all out like that. There you go. So it's a 3-finger thing, huh, Max?
Oh wow, okay. I thought you said
You want to put some pollen patties on, Miriam?
We believe that because we are a queen producer, we have access to queen bees very easily. So our goal is to be efficient. So we're going to split the hive. We don't care where the queen is. So that's what we do. We split a hive, and we will mark it though. We'll mark it with the A, and that one has an A. That one will have a B. That one will have a B. And we'll take them to different yards. So I'll go to one yard, and I will have my alphabet of splits, and I'll check which ones have the queen. So then that tells me that if I have the queen an A over here, then I need a queen an A over there. Oh, okay. So then I'm gonna go ahead and put a queen over there once I get to that B yard. And then if I wanna requeen that one there that I've come across, I'll go ahead and I'll requeen it. So it all depends on the situation. If I am, short on queens, then yes, I'm going to keep her. But it all depends. Some folks will like to find their queen, and so they'll put an excluder right in between. They'll come back in around 3 days, and then you observe where the eggs are being laid. So the side that so you have the excluder, your double deeps. If the queen is down below, obviously there's going to be eggs there. So that tells you that top box can be taken away because it's queenless.
We did have a lot of rain. Did the floods impact any of your hives? Did some of them were underwater or kind of float away?
I'd love to say that no, everything was fine, but we did have some that did float away. And I think that's where I suspected that it could flood, and I didn't do my job, right? I should have had those on higher ground, but it opens up another conversation that beekeepers should have with their growers. Where I'm going to put my bees, is it prone to flooding? And I think it's important to bring that conversation up. If it is, and they want to have those bees there, then I think it's important to you to express that, hey, you want the bees here. Well, I need to make sure that my bees don't float away. So what you can do is provide me, they have these bee stands. Like this grower here, they do provide bee stands. So it's just a metal frame where your bees are able to sit up on top in case it floods. And it's not like a river, it's usually like canals that swell up and then it floods the area. But that flooding can be with the sediment that goes into the comb. The bees have a hard time cleaning that stuff out. So we did have about 3 drops that just get flooded out, and they floated they just floated away. So I had to go in there, pull them out of the water, and then come back the very next day and give them a fresh box with dry comb, good honey. That way they can work themselves up, because when you open up the lids, they're all up on top. They're trying to the bees are going to stick to their hive. They're not going to fly away. So it doesn't matter if it's a flood, it doesn't matter if it's fire. They are going to stay in that colony. So them having nowhere to work or lay because there's water in the comb, we wanted to provide them a dry space. So we pop off the lid, we put a dry box on top, let them work themselves up. The bees will work it out. They just need to be provided the right conditions. And that's what we're hoping that we did. And we did that just because we've learned in the past that by shaking the frames and the water out and putting new frames in, that's just too much stress for the bees. So we wanted them to just go up on top on their own, and then we would eliminate that bottom box that has all the sediment in the comb and the water, and just take that away, and then having just that dry condition of box to be able to work.
Did the queen make it in all of these boxes?
It's hard to say. I won't know right now. Well, I will know now, but at that time I did not know, because they're already stressed enough that the only way I'll know is when I go back to see if she's laid eggs. That's when I'll know, because having to go through all the bees when they're that stressed is just too much for them. So we want them to be able to just get settled in their nice dry little box, and then we'll just check to make sure everything is in order. And if it's not, then those are losses. We can't count at this time. If they've dwindled down, that's just a loss. And usually it's hard for them to recover during a flood like that, because they were submerged up until the top. So it's just, bees are very resilient creatures, but they are just like anything else in nature. If they are harmed too much, they will not survive.
Would you say, what would be the common reason for all these loss? Would it be the travel from state to state, the weather, or just the infection of mites, or what would be? I know there's not a really like this is it right here every single year.
Yeah.
But what will be more the comment that you'll say, oh man, like this year I lost a percentage of bees because I think it was this, or
Yeah. So I think it's pretty important for, for me, just putting myself out there, to not just say it's this, because I believe it's multiple things that resulted in this big, massive thing. Not everybody's, feeding regimen, treatment regimen is the same. And we're in totally different areas, parts of the country. So it's something more complicated, I think. It could be nutrition, could be varroa, it could be just, spraying that happens in our area, new insecticide or fungicides, whatever it is. I don't know, but I would love to know once, the researchers and the people in the lab that are testing all these things. I think it's one of those critical things for us beekeepers to just be patient and not change your whole operation because, for example, we know we were having, no mites, but it could have been that we were still playing catch up because last year was a wet year in the spring. We didn't get our treatments on until a lot later than we would this year. So could that affected everything? It's possible. It is very possible that we were trying to play catch up with the mites. But again, it's a combination of so many different things and I think it's important just to be patient and waiting to hear from the people in the labs to give us something. And I don't know. That's where I'm boggled. I have no idea what it could have been. But I know that we are going to be proactive in the varroa, in nutrition, in feeding, just everything. Just making sure that we're doing our part. Again, so many different factors that it could have been, but we just don't know.
What's that? And then go do this one next. Good job, dude. You want to drag it to the next one?
exciting. I loved it. I did get stung one time, so no big deal.
All right.
So yeah, I think it made me tougher. Now I can come out here more.
I think it's important for our industry to work with each other because it's already hard keeping bees alive.
Of course, yes.
And the challenges that we have. So sharing information for us to be able to work together as a collective group to be able to, if it's treating varroa mites or, honey prices are down, but this guy gets good prices, just working together so we're all going the same direction. And by helping each other, I think it's something that makes our industry and the community stronger. And that's what we want to be able to provide with our channel is just a means of getting people together and collaborating, working with each other. If it's dropping information for some of our subscribers that have questions, we get people that, commercial guys, large guys, they run 30, 40,000 colonies that watch our stuff. And we're nothing to boast, but it's just a place where people can come and give their insight or give, some feedback.
Yeah, of course.
Because even we need it. I may be doing something wrong in a video and I'll get a comment on a subscriber that, might provide me with something that makes my job easier. So I think that's really important for our industry, the future for our industry, to be able to come together and share information and collaborate.
Yeah, especially that now everything is online.
Yeah.
Everybody goes online to search any tiny thing. But yeah, no, that is a really good place to start with. And like you said, you know, either if you're a small beekeeper or you're a big keeper,
Yes.
there might be things that work for you that do not work for other persons. So just kind of seeing that, like, oh, maybe I should try that. Maybe, you know, or maybe I should tell them to try this instead because, you know, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
So just having that out there is pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's exactly, that's exactly right. Beekeeping changes from regions. And that's one of the reasons why we started the California Beekeeper. There was a lack of West Coast beekeeping being shared. So we just wanted to share what we're doing. Not really informational. Here and there, we do share some good information, but it's showing how we do things, and we hope that people can grasp little things here and there that they can gain, and we could add value. So.